Warm St. Lucian welcome, because right now, at least until whatever next, she's going to be a Lucian. I think she's already climatized, because let me tell you, Amy ain't nothing simple. We are talking about the resident British commissioner, and newly appointed, basically newly appointed last year, but certainly, now she's getting on the ground and interacting. So, newly is the word. So when we come back, we get into the conversation, find out some more about Amy, what it is, her plans are. I mean, how does she feel about St. Lucia thus far? All of the good stuff. So we're coming back to that in a minute. But of course, we'd like to take the opportunity also to thank our partner, the First National Bank. Now, let me give you some information on the First National Bank. They have gone green. The First National Bank presents its new sustainable living loans to all customers looking to invest in renewable energy solutions. Now, that is innovative. Now, we're talking it, put your money where your mouth is kind of vibe. That's what I like. 100% financing on loans to purchase solar systems, inverter AC units, water tanks, and hybrid vehicles. All you need to do is give them a call at 455-7000. So that's 455-7000, or you can email campaigns at First National Bank. Well, it's 1nbslu.com. So it's campaigns at 1nbslu.com for more information. The First National Bank has gone green. The journey to saving our planet starts with you. And that's remarkable. All right, so we take a word from the partner. When we come back, you know what time it is. We are live on Facebook. At the official page of Radio Caribbean International. And you can also find us live on our YouTube page. We'll be back.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Absolutely wonderful. So this is where we say welcome to our amazing guest. Her name is Amy Quantrill. Did I get it right this time, Amy?
Yeah, you did.
Finally,
yeah, well pronounced.
Certainly, because I it's good because I follow up on you many a time before we actually got to the interview. That interview was supposed to go down so long, but I happened to fall into you many a time, so I got the name, because I got I got enough time to get used to the name. Welcome to She Speaks. We are honored to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored to be here.
Wonderful. Now, Amy, let me tell you, we normally like to find out about our guests. We want to go all the way back. And this is what everybody sees now, the resident British High Commissioner. And that's what people are seeing. And a few things before that. We're going to get to that in a minute. Tell us a little bit about you. Where were you born? What was growing up like? Tell us about you. Tell us about Amy.
So I was originally born in Aberdeen, which is in northeast Scotland. And I lived there until I was 9 years old. And then me and my family moved to Malaysia. So we moved halfway around the world. Wow. Because my dad's job, he worked in the oil and gas industry. He got an opportunity to move. So we moved halfway around the world to a completely different country, which was fantastic. And I lived there my parents lived there for almost 11 years. So most of my childhood was actually spent in Malaysia rather than spent in the UK.
Wow. What was childhood like? Having these different influences at such a young age, do you think it was a blessing in disguise that you didn't understand at the time yet?
I think it was a complete blessing, yeah. I think as children you adapt very quickly to new environments as long as you have stability and you make a lot of friends, and Malaysia was a very, very welcoming place, so I felt at home there very quickly.
But that was pretty young?
Pretty young, yeah, 9, and then I have a younger brother who was 6 when we moved, so the two of us moved together.
Would you say, you adopted a lot more of the Malaysian side of things?
Definitely. When you look at what I cook, you can definitely see the Malaysian influence. So I usually have chili sauce in my bag everywhere I go.
Do you have some now?
No, it's in the office.
Okay, awesome, wonderful. Well, that is good. What are some of the principles, though? Because you're here now, and you definitely some high-profile engagement moving forward. but you seem to be very effective in them because they keep recruiting you for them. So, which means they're very contented with the level that you bring to these posts. What are some of the grounding principles that you believe from then would have contributed to the person that you are today, that you're grateful for?
I mean, I think that one of the grounding principles, I moved to a different country with a different religious structure, for example, and I was able to make connections in that country. Some of my closest friends are still Malaysians. And I think it demonstrated to me that people around the world, no matter where they're from, we value the same things. We are more or less all the same. Obviously, there's a lot of diversity, which is a great part of moving and traveling, but what ties us together as human beings is far greater than what divides us. And that's something I learned as a child and I still firmly believe today.
Oh, absolutely. And I guess that's why you can contribute so wonderfully to the spaces, because the spaces does require you to interact with people from all walks of life, all background, hence you're here. Let's get into that now. I mean, you are now the newly appointed resident British Commissioner here in St. Lucia. But before that, let's take it back to when you started your career, what it is you started off as, and just walk us briefly to where we are at now.
So I actually didn't start in the Foreign Service. I studied chemical engineering at university and then was a petroleum engineer for the first 5 years of my career. So I worked a lot in North Africa and Algeria and also in Azerbaijan as well. So it's quite different work, but I found politics played a massive role. So, for example, the amount we were able to produce on an oil and gas platform was far more determined by the political agreements in place than it was by the technical agreements. So that side of the business has always interested me as well, which is kind of what led me to diplomacy.
So you were telling yourself at that time, I have to get into that space there to really, figure it out, my way, or maybe make some changes that you probably think could have been made?
Yeah, exactly. That's where I felt where maybe the most positive change could be made. And although, oil and gas is definitely still part of our energy picture and provides a lot of our energy around the world, I knew that we were transitioning and green energy was becoming more and more important, and more people were demanding that we had green sources of energy. So I also wanted to move into that space as well.
Oh, wonderful. What was the next move?
So after working, I originally worked for BP. I took some time off. I actually did some traveling, which was great. Went to South America and learnt Spanish, and then I applied to the Foreign Service. So I didn't just apply to the Foreign Service, I also applied for the Department of Energy, but I ended up getting employed with the Foreign Service, which I was delighted by because it's been a great fit for me, both personally and professionally.
What was it like when you did get in? Was it an easy route, or because you were already thinking about it, you were looking into it, or did you pose some challenge in climatizing to the zone?
I mean, I think a bit of both. It was something that I was really prepared to do. I think having had a background in a childhood where I moved countries quite a lot and was exposed to a different culture, that kind of set me up for working in the Foreign Service. But like with any large organization, it has its culture that you have to adapt to as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Walk us through now from there, because we're coming up to where you are. We want to go through the whole route with you. I'm getting the feeling that you're just a person that's just a go-getter. You don't see challenges. I'm not feeling that at all. It's okay. All right. Okay. You're an okay kind of girl. Okay, that's what you give. All right, bring it on. Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like you look at someone doing something and you think, oh, I could do that too. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't doubt yourself, and you should try your best when you are faced with new opportunities.
Personal. Now let's just deviate a little bit. On a personal note, though, because it's one thing we have personalities like that. It's one thing they have that personality, but sometime maybe somewhere along the line, something sort of shake up that trajectory of yours and say, well, okay, what are you thinking? And you got a little stumble in the way that, something you just went after and you fearlessly went after and it gave you a little uppercut. You ever had a moment?
Oh, 100%, 100%. But I think often those moments you learn the most from, because that's what challenges you the deepest, and therefore you learn the most often about yourself and what you want out of life and what path you want to take.
Wonderful. Let's come up to where you are now, becoming the resident British Commissioner here to St. Lucia. what does that post mean to you? Is that something that you was looking at, you were anticipating, or it was just something that fell on the plate?
It was something I was looking at, and I was really delighted to do. I mean, it's an honour to represent your country overseas and represent your government, and I was really delighted to get to do it in such a place as friendly and as welcoming as St. Lucia.
Right. We hear a lot of this. I mean, even myself, you hear Lee is there. Lee probably understand that, so Lee, I for you. I need to learn, you know. When we hear of a resident commissioner from a territory in our country, what does that mean? What is the rule? What is the mandate set out? What is the role of a resident commissioner?
So in a nutshell, you're representing the UK and the UK government in the country that you're posted to. So that can, you know, my job encompasses a whole range of different activities, which is part of the reason I enjoy it so much. Part of it is supporting British nationals when they travel to the country that you're posted to. So St. Lucia, I think, has hundreds of thousands of British tourists that come through every year, and a lot of British people who also live here. So we provide a service to them and make sure that they're supported with anything that they need while they're here. But we also have, I mean, great partnership with St. Lucia on the development space, for example. So we have a lot of shared interests when it comes to adapting and preventing the challenges of climate change. And that's something, you know, the UK speaks to the St. Lucian government about a lot, and the St. Lucian government also speaks to the UK a lot about. So one of the projects we're working on together is building the road, the West Coast Road and the Millennium Highway. So the UK had given St. Lucia a grant of $37 million for this road. So again, part of my job is to look at how that project is being implemented and advise my government if any changes need to be made.
Ooh. Okay then. Okay then. Right, but okay. On a personal level now, Amy, the approach to the position, it does it really, is it a set, okay, this is what we're going to do and this is what, do you have the leeway as a personality? If I'm that kind of person and I'm a go-getter and I'm in the island and I'm seeing this and you know, I'm going to shake up my people, let's do this. Do you have that sort of leeway where you can do that as a...
Yeah, I think so. I mean, my organisation are very supportive. Obviously, I talk to them about my plans and what I want to achieve and where I see the opportunities, and they'll feed back with the, you know, the kind of guidance and, you know, resource constraints that we might have. But certainly I think to be effective in this job, but almost in any walk of life, you have to bring your real self to work. You have to bring your personality to work. Our work is about human-to-human connections, and if you're hiding who you really are, then I think you make less effective connections. Whereas if you're genuine and, you know, you approach your job with your whole self, you have better results overall.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, since you've been here, I think your family is over here as well. You've brought everybody over. Since you've been here, you've had the opportunity to mingle and mix, move around a little bit. I noticed you mentioned a lot about the culture. Junior Creole is something you're looking forward to. You're looking to immerse in the carnival experience as well to see what it is and what it is like. Have you seen or identified any areas that you think you might want to maybe tackle or make a plea within? Had you have enough time to be able to see any areas which you mentioned very passionately the cultural aspect of it? You seem to be very interested in that.
Yeah, I mean that's a part of my job I absolutely love is learning about new cultures, and I think St. Lucia has such a vibrant and, you know, interesting culture. There's so many cultural moments that I've been lucky enough to be invited to and participate in. As you mentioned, my family are here, so my son is at nursery here, and he now thinks he's St. Lucian. And it's, you know, if you ask him which is his flag, he definitely points to the St. Lucian flag.
We appreciate that.
I think that part of the integration has also been really important for us as a family, is making sure that he's settled. He really enjoys school here and he really enjoys living here, which has been great. So on the cultural side, I mean, there's so much that happens already between the UK and St. Lucia. I think we have so much joint culture. You talk about carnival season. Obviously, St. Lucia's carnival is coming up. Notting Hill in London has a very vibrant carnival every year in August as well. So, you know, that kind of cultural exchange happens very naturally anyway, but obviously it's something we're very keen to support. Another area I can see that we have in common is our love of cricket.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Certainly. That has been, that spans way back now, isn't it? Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I was lucky enough to see the West Indies play England shortly after I arrived, which was a very exciting match.
I can't remember that one. Who won? Who did
England won, but just.
Okay.
It was
That's
very
fine.
close.
You must have been in an awkward space trying to make noise but not make noise.
Well, so I'm from Scotland, so supporting England has always got a bit of it's a bit challenging anyway, I would say. But
That was just being funny.
Yeah.
Amy, St. Lucia, I mean, I'm not sure if that falls under your thing, and this is no, if you put on the spot in any way, just deviate from it, because that's not the aim of the show. St. Lucia has recently been, in terms of travel, St. Lucian going to England, they now have to obtain visas, and there seems to be a little bit more restriction being placed on the St. Lucian traveling to the UK. How does your office feel about that? Is there something that you plan to look into? What has caused all of that? And if there's some way that we could probably, come to the stage where we can get some sort of light and fix whatever it is, the issue that they're having, and try to find a better bond between the two countries. Because, I don't know, something about that, it makes you feel, okay, well, they don't really want us there, and it starts to feel, so here you are trying to create that bond, but then that is happening. So the St. Lucians are now feeling that they're not welcome, but you're here and that's your aim, to try to create that bond.
So I definitely want St. Lucians to feel welcome to the UK. I want to correct you slightly. So St. Lucians don't have to obtain a visa to visit the UK as a tourist.
Okay.
What they have to obtain is a electronic travel authorization, an ETA.
Okay.
Which is a very simple process to apply for online. You can do it. You usually get your response within 3 days, sometimes within a matter of hours. It costs around £16 to obtain this. It's not a visa process where you have to go to a visa centre or anything like that.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, and
Right.
every
country needs it?
Now, everyone who doesn't have a visa has to have an ETA to travel to the UK, apart from people from Ireland. So, for example, my husband's American. He needs an ETA when we travel back to the UK. So the visa restrictions the changes that came in for St. Lucia also came in for all of the Caribbean and the US and Canada at the same time.
Okay.
So it was a blanket digitization of our borders rather than a visa restriction.
Okay. Does it in any way? Because I think that's an opportunity to clarify, because a lot of people started to feel a little slighted. So I'm glad we're here and we're having that conversation, because a lot of people felt, okay, I'm being sidelined in some way, some form. So it's nothing like that.
Nothing like that. Completely nothing like that. And I understand when changes happen, people often assume that it's a visa because that's what you need to travel to other parts of the world, but it's not that at all. It's a digitization of our borders. People from Europe need it now. For example, it came in slightly later in Europe than it did in the Caribbean and the Northern American territories, but now it's in place in Europe as well. So someone traveling from France or Germany also needs this ETA to travel into the UK.
All right. Is there something in particular would have prompted to make that moves or introduce that new travel arrangement?
I just think it's as we move into more and more into the digital age, we're doing more and more online. So once you've applied for it, you'll get your approval by email, and then you don't even need to bring that approval to the airport because it's
And do you
linked to
need to apply for it every time you travel?
No, it's valid for 2 years.
Okay. Awesome.
So it's valid for 2 years. Once you've applied for it, as long as you use the same passport to travel on, then you don't even need to bring the confirmation to the airport.
Well, I'm glad we clarified that. Because, sometimes you're not even aware of what you're hearing certain things and it's coming at you, and you develop a narrative, and then everybody's running on that narrative, and fear or all sorts of emotion gets erected, and then so I'm glad we clarified that.
I just would like to add one thing.
Sure.
So you should definitely apply through the official government website, which is www.gov.uk, because there are other ways for applying, and there are other organisations who help you with your application process, but they tend to charge a lot more. So £16 is what people should be paying, and they should be going directly to the government website.
Oh, that's another very important point, isn't it? Thank you for that, Amy. Let's take a word from the partner again, and then we'll come back and continue the conversation. We got 10 minutes left.
It all started with a penny For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
And we are back. Amy Quantrill is our guest this morning. That is the resident British Commissioner to St. Lucia. And we're having a wonderful time. Amy, let's get back down. Well, we have a few more things to talk about under the banner of that of your post, but we like to get personal, so we'll talk about the Chevening. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So we have a Chevening scholarship program, which is mainly for students doing their master's program. The award covers the payment of tuition fees, travel expenses, visa application, and a personal living allowance. So it's it's a really good scholarship scheme. It was created in the 1980s, and so far over 50,000 professionals have used it, including many people from St. Lucia. So we have a really good Chevening alumni network here.
We that's one thing we were very well abreast with. Yeah, it's beautiful, wonderful. So that continues.
That continues. We've just let 3 more St. Lucians know that they were awarded the Chevening scholarship, so they'll be leaving this summer to go study in the UK, and we'll be opening up our Chevening window later on this summer for future applications.
Right. What are some of the other things? I mean, this is a brilliant one, and it's been long-standing. It's been serving us. So that makes us happy.
Yeah.
What are some of the other things? I mean, because times have changed, and a lot of innovation is happening, digital. A lot of things is happening in terms of how we interact. Is there any other areas of that you have identified so far that you plan to make some future contributions to?
I've been really pleasantly surprised by all the different work that St. Lucia and the UK does together, and all the different collaborations that happen. I think one that we're looking for, particularly in the future, is security collaboration. So we also have joint security concerns with St. Lucia, and we have a lot we can learn from each other. So we're looking at how we can collaborate more on the security front.
Wonderful. And let's bring it back around to you. We have about a couple of minutes left. It should have been, but I guess you can't run from that. It's always, once you get into a conversation about Amy, is going to go there because it's just what it is. Let's come back down to you now. I mean, what are your plans for moving forward on a personal basis? How long are you going to be here in that position for?
Between 3 and 4 years. Although I think I'll struggle to leave, to be honest with you, because I'm enjoying living here so much and working here so much.
You don't have to leave if you don't want to. We'll be happy to keep you here. I think you wouldn't leave, You see, after you got immersed in the carnival and you get a little taste of the junior Creole, you are going nowhere. And your son already speaking like St. Lucian. Yeah. You have nowhere to go. But what is it like, though, being here with your entire family? I mean, does it ever get a little challenging?
I mean, I think it's fantastic. Obviously, you miss your family back home, but my family have been out to visit more than once already, my parents, because they also love it here. And we've had a lot of friends coming over. My husband's from New York, so it's very easy to get back and forth to the States from here as well. So his family have also traveled to visit. So for us, it's actually the perfect place to be, because it's almost between it's quite easy for both US and UK family to come and see us. And I think St. Lucia has so much to offer to a tourist as well. So I feel like my other job is also a tour guide. I don't know how many guests I've taken down to Sufra to see the springs and see all the amazing beaches that St. Lucia has to offer. So that's where you'll often find me at the weekend, is hanging out with my family on one of St. Lucia's amazing beaches.
Yeah. Most times people look at an appointment of that sort, they think it's it's no hard work, it's just a lot of money for doing nothing. Is that a myth? Or is that a myth? And please bust that myth right now so persons can get it right.
Well, I would say all of us at the British High Commission work very hard. I mean, I always feel when I log off at the end of the day, there's more I would like to do. And I think that's true of most most jobs. You always feel that there's more you can do, but you have to balance that also with, your personal commitments and having a young family. That's very important to me. But I found that my son has been very welcomed. So, for example, if I've had childcare restrictions. He's come with me to official events. He's met a lot of the ministers. They've been very welcoming to him and very inclusive. So I personally have found St. Lucia is a great place to have a young family. Children are very welcome and very integrated here, which I love.
Wonderful. Now, a woman in these sort of high-profile engagement, I don't know if that is real for you, or it was some of us, when we step into certain spaces, it becomes, especially spaces as we've been known to be dominated by male figures. Sometimes you get a little challenge. Times are changing, and thankfully, we're seeing more of a universal or a more level playing field where that is concerned. But on a personal note, have you, in your career path, your journey to date, have ever had to deal with any challenges around that line, or what other challenges? Because everybody thinks it's all fun and games, or she's just born with a gold spoon and she just had it made from start. But everybody, no matter what, must at some point in time face challenges. It might not be the challenge that I had to cope with, but you must have had some challenges that you had to overcome and stay firm to be where you are today.
Yeah.
And that, of course, could be a source of inspiration for anybody that's listening as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, certainly working in the oil and gas industry was very male-dominated, so there was far more men. Where, especially when I worked overseas and there were women. I mean, I often was on a site of, say, over 1,000 people, and I might be the only woman on site. And that was incredibly intimidating at times. But I think I found allies within the men that I worked with as well, who really supported me. And when I doubted myself, they were the ones to kind of prop me up and be like, you deserve to be here just as much as we do. And they were real allies. And I found that I was in a privileged position, and by me maybe doing that job for the first time, it opened up the door for other women to come and do those jobs as well. So that was something that kind of inspired me, and I'd seen women who were maybe a bit further on in their careers do that as well, and seeing that they could do it and they deserve a piece, a seat at the table like the men do. We should be there. We have good opinions. We should be there making our voices heard.
Certainly. Maybe in closing, I'll open the floor for you. If there's anything, last word you'd like to leave with our viewers, our listeners, you could throw it out there.
I think I'd just like to say thank you for making me and my family so welcome in St. Lucia, and thanks for the warm welcome and for integrating us into many lives, whether it's my colleagues at work or people I've met socially or through my work. I mean, I've just felt so welcome and so happy to be here, so thank you.
Wonderful. Well, we look forward to the future, and thank you very much. And all the best in the position. I know you're going to do well.
Thank you.
I know you're going to do well. You're very passionate. I can feel that. All right, guys. Well, that's our show for today. She Speaks brought to you every Tuesday here by the First National Bank. And we look forward to next Tuesday when we have another event, another show with another guest. But for now, that's where we wrap up. That's where we say goodbye until the next time. Now, I leave and Hyper comes on next, and I'll be back. No. I work this morning. I coming back at 2. No, sir. I'm out for the day. Oh, let me just remind you guys, one of our queens, she's sat here before as a guest on our show, Nicole David. It's her burial today at 1 at the Grosley Plain Field. So just a reminder in case you'd like to go, and it will be streamed live as well. So if you can't make it, then you can catch it on the live stream as well. But do enjoy the rest of the day, and that's our time for She Speaks for today.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Established in 1961 and still